ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Chatbot GTP.
In November 2022, a technology quietly launched online would revolutionize our world in just a few weeks. ChatGPT was born, and with it, humanity crossed a threshold whose consequences we are only beginning to grasp. 100 million users in 2 months, the fastest growing consumer technology in history. A silent revolution that has entered our daily lives, our schools, and our businesses. Behind this wave, one man, Sam Altman. At 38, this visionary entrepreneur finds himself at the helm of one of the most influential companies of our time. Between admiration and fear, he now embodies the human face of an artificial intelligence that some predict could match or even surpass our cognitive abilities in the coming decades. How did a young prodigy from Silicon Valley become the architect of this revolution? How did he gather around him the best minds on the planet with a mission as ambitious as it is paradoxical? To create a superpowered artificial intelligence that would remain beneficial for humanity. From Stanford to OpenAI, from his early successes to the controversies that have marked his journey, a story that is also the story of a technology already redefining our relationship with the world, with knowledge, and perhaps soon with ourselves. We now dive into the fascinating story of Sam Altman. Samuel Harris Altman was born on April 22, 1985, in Chicago, Illinois. The eldest of 4 siblings, he grew up in an American Jewish family where excellence was valued. His mother, Connie Jibstein, worked as a dermatologist, while his father, Jerry Altman, was a real estate broker. Sam's technological destiny was shaped at the age of 8 when he received his first computer, an Apple Macintosh LC2. What was just a gadget for many children became a true passion for him. Curious and methodical, young Sam didn't just use the machine. He took it apart, explored its components, and learned to program his first lines of code. This early fascination with technology laid the foundation for his future empire. After elementary school, Sam enrolled in the prestigious John Burroughs School, a private institution in Ladue, a suburb of St. Louis. Beyond his technical skills, his classmates and teachers quickly noticed his natural confidence and leadership, qualities that would distinguish him throughout his career. In 2003, at just 18, the brilliant student walked through the doors of Stanford University to join its prestigious computer science program. But Sam Altman was not like other students. Eager to bring his ideas to life and already driven by an entrepreneurial spirit, he made a decision that surprised those around him. After 2 years of study, he left Stanford without a degree. This bold choice, which many would consider risky, proved decisive for his meteoric rise. In 2005, at just 19, Altman embarked on his entrepreneurial journey. While the smartphone era was still in its infancy, he already saw its revolutionary potential. With remarkably precocious vision, he co-founded Looped, a social geolocation app that allowed users to share their location and discover nearby friends. The project quickly won over investors, backed by the famous Y Combinator Accelerator and then by prestigious funds like Sequoia Capital and New Enterprise Associates. Looped raised over $30 million to fund its development. Altman became one of the youngest entrepreneurs to attract such significant funding in Silicon Valley. In a still nascent market, Looped emerged as a pioneer of mobile social networking. The app anticipated the explosion of location-based social networks, but also faced technical challenges and growing competition in this emerging sector. On April 4, 2012, Altman achieved his first major entrepreneurial success. Green Dot Corporation, a specialist in prepaid banking solutions, acquired Looped for $43 million, with nearly $10 million earmarked to retain the company's key talents. At just 27, Sam Altman joined the exclusive circle of successful Silicon Valley founders. This first victory was only the beginning of an exceptional journey. As early as 2011, even before Looped's sale, Sam joined the ranks of Y Combinator, the accelerator that had supported his first startup. A new chapter was about to begin for the man who would soon become one of the most influential figures in global technology. In 2011, while Looped continued its development, Sam Altman made a decision that would profoundly shape his trajectory. He joined Y Combinator, the accelerator that had supported his first company, this time as a part-time partner. A way of coming full circle for the man who had switched sides just a few years earlier. Drawing on his experience as a founder, Altman brought a unique perspective to the startups in the program. That of an entrepreneur who had faced the challenges of building a company in an emerging sector. After Loopsale in 2012, he took a new step by becoming a full-time partner at Y Combinator. During this learning phase, Sam Altman stood out for his exceptional ability to identify high-potential projects. More than just an investor, he became a mentor who could communicate his passion and vision to new generations of entrepreneurs. One of his strengths was his ability to normalize failure as a learning step, a philosophy that now permeates the entire startup culture of Silicon Valley. In February 2014, a major event shook Silicon Valley. Paul Graham, the legendary founder of Y Combinator, announced that Sam Altman, then just 28, would succeed him as president of the institution. This appointment, which surprised as much as it excited, marked the beginning of a new era for the world's most prestigious startup accelerator. Under Altman's leadership, Y Combinator underwent a radical transformation. What was originally a simple acceleration program became a full-fledged entrepreneurial ecosystem. Cohorts grew from a few dozen to over 100 startups per batch. Investments diversified, and programs multiplied to cover all phases of a company's development. Altman's vision for innovation was clear and ambitious. For him, technology should tackle humanity's greatest challenges: energy, health, artificial intelligence. He advocated for a bold investment philosophy, supporting founders from the earliest prototypes, helping them iterate quickly, and above all, thinking big. For Altman, a good project wasn't just measured by its initial business model, but by its potential for disruption and, above all, the vision of its founders. He constantly emphasized the importance of passion and resilience in the entrepreneurial process, qualities he himself demonstrated throughout his journey. Under his influence, Y Combinator developed an impressive array of educational resources, articles, podcasts, the famous AI Startup School, spreading this unique approach to a global community of aspiring entrepreneurs. What was once knowledge reserved for a select few became accessible to all, profoundly transforming the global startup ecosystem. While successes like Airbnb and Dropbox had already emerged from YC's early batches before Altman's presidency, these companies greatly benefited from the enhanced post-acceleration support he implemented. Follow-up programs now allowed promising startups to continue receiving YC's backing long after graduation. In 2014, Altman personally supported Cruise's entry into the YC program. This autonomous vehicle startup experienced rapid growth under his supervision, quickly catching the attention of General Motors, which would eventually acquire it for over $1 billion. One of the greatest successes of the Altman era. One of Altman's major innovations was the creation of YC Continuity, a follow-on fund that allowed Y Combinator to continue financially supporting its brightest successes. This revolutionary model enabled YC to reinvest heavily in unicorns like Instacart and Stripe, ensuring their growth beyond the initial acceleration phase and maximizing returns for the accelerator. In just a few years, Sam Altman became one of the most influential figures in Silicon Valley, regularly featured in rankings by Forbes and MIT Technology Review. He was now seen as a visionary whose opinions shaped the future of global tech. But what would truly propel Altman into the pantheon of global tech leaders was a parallel initiative launched in 2015. While leading YC, he co-founded OpenAI, a revolutionary project backed by his accelerator with the goal of developing artificial intelligence beneficial to humanity. An adventure that would radically redefine the global technological landscape. Under his visionary leadership, Y Combinator diversified its activities by creating new programs: YC Research for long-term projects, YC Fellowship to support emerging talents, and the AI Startup School to train the next generation of AI entrepreneurs. In doing so, YC transformed into a true global incubator of disruptive ideas and talents. His impressive network of former founders and investors made him a key interlocutor for governments and major global tech institutions. Over the years, Sam Altman was no longer just an investor. He became a true opinion leader whose words and actions shaped the technological future of our planet. In 2019, after 5 years at the helm of Y Combinator, Sam Altman made a surprising decision that marked another turning point in his career. He stepped down as YC's president to focus entirely on OpenAI, convinced that artificial intelligence represented the next major technological frontier, an intuition that would prove prophetic.
Well, OpenAI has launched a new AI model and desktop version.
In 2015, the world of artificial intelligence was abuzz. After decades of modest development, the field suddenly experienced spectacular acceleration. Major tech players like Google, Facebook, and IBM shared some of their breakthroughs, while deep learning revolutionized computer vision and natural language processing. This unprecedented democratization of AI platforms, coupled with a massive increase in funding, created an unparalleled climate of innovation. Algorithms now outperformed humans in increasingly varied domains, and practical applications multiplied across all sectors. But this rapid acceleration also sparked deep concerns. Elon Musk, the visionary entrepreneur behind Tesla and SpaceX, issued repeated warnings. For him, the creation of an uncontrolled general artificial intelligence could represent the greatest existential threat to humanity. Musk wasn't alone. Influential voices like Stephen Hawking joined this chorus of concern, advocating for regulations and safeguards even before truly advanced systems emerged. A fundamental debate arose: how to ensure that AI progress would benefit humanity as a whole. It was in this context that Sam Altman and Elon Musk began crafting an ambitious and unprecedented project. Their vision: to create an independent structure dedicated not to profit maximization, but to responsible AI research. On December 11, 2015, the announcement was official. OpenAI was born as a non-profit artificial intelligence research lab. This unprecedented project was backed by an initial funding of $1 billion, a substantial portion of which came from Elon Musk's personal fortune. The founding statement was clear and ambitious. Our goal is to advance digital intelligence in a way that is most likely to benefit humanity as a whole, unconstrained by the need to generate financial return. To carry out this mission, Altman and Musk assembled an exceptional team. 11 co-founders from the world's most prestigious tech institutions united their forces in this unprecedented venture. Among them was Ilya Sutskever, a former star researcher at Google Brain and one of the world's brightest deep learning specialists. His fundamental contributions to architectures like AlexNet made him a crucial scientific pillar for the project. Greg Brockman, former CTO of Stripe, brought his vision for large-scale engineering and his ability to build robust infrastructures, essential skills for developing complex AI systems. Other world-renowned researchers like Wojciech Zaremba, John Schulman, and Andrei Karpathy completed this AI dream team. Each brought specialized expertise: Zaremba in robotics and reinforcement learning, Schulman in algorithmic optimization, Karpathy in computer vision. OpenAI's original mission was summarized in an ambitious manifesto: to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. This wording already reflected a long-term vision. It wasn't just about developing immediate applications, but preparing for the advent of artificial general intelligence, capable of understanding and learning any human intellectual task. OpenAI's initial charter emphasized a fundamental principle: technical leadership and safety must go hand in hand. For the founders, the only effective defense against the potential risks of AGI was to be at the forefront of its development, not to create a monopolistic position, but to ensure this technology remained under human control and served the common good. In just a few years, the organization grew exponentially. From a small initial team of passionate researchers, OpenAI gradually became a major player in global artificial intelligence, attracting top international talent and developing increasingly sophisticated computing infrastructures. But this growth also brought early tensions. In February 2018, Elon Musk left OpenAI's board of directors, citing potential conflicts of interest with Tesla. This departure marked the end of the initial configuration and foreshadowed the structural transformations that would affect the organization in the coming years. In early 2019, for years after its creation, OpenAI stood at a decisive crossroads. The organization had published major scientific work and assembled an elite team of researchers. But one reality was undeniable. The development of artificial general intelligence required colossal financial resources, an ambition that clashed with the limits of the initial nonprofit model. The infrastructure needed to train increasingly powerful models demanded massive investments. The cost of developing large language models had risen from a few thousand to several $1,000,000 in just a few years. To pursue its mission, OpenAI needed a new economic model. Thus, in March 2019, OpenAI announced a major transformation of its structure, the creation of OpenAI LP, a new kind of commercial entity. This hybrid model, described as capped profit, represented an organizational innovation that would attract capital while remaining true to the original mission. The principle was ingenious. Investors could realize a return on investment, but it was strictly capped, up to 100 times their initial stake. Beyond that, all profits would revert to the nonprofit entity, which retained absolute control over strategic decisions. A compromise designed to reconcile technological ambition and the common good. This decision sparked mixed reactions. For some, it represented a betrayal of the founding ideal. For others, it was a necessary pragmatism in the face of the economic realities of AI research. This tension between idealism and pragmatism would become a defining feature of OpenAI's history. With this restructuring, Sam Altman, already a co-founder and president of the nonprofit organization, officially became CEO of OpenAI LP. His role now extended beyond strategic vision. He assumed the operational and commercial responsibility of a company in full transformation. Sam Altman, interview excerpt, "Our mission remains unchanged, to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. To achieve this, we need the necessary resources. This new structure allows us to raise capital while preserving our fundamental commitment." The new structure quickly bore fruit. On July 22, 2019, Microsoft announced a massive $1 billion investment in OpenAI LP. More than just financial support, this strategic partnership marked the beginning of a technological alliance that would redefine the global AI landscape. The agreement included a crucial technical component: exclusive access to Azure supercomputers, some of the most powerful computing infrastructures in the world. These resources became the cornerstone for developing OpenAI's future models, providing the computing power needed to train systems of unprecedented complexity. Satya Nadella, interview excerpt, "Our partnership with OpenAI represents a unique opportunity to advance artificial intelligence responsibly while democratizing access to these revolutionary technologies through our cloud platform." This new financial and technical capacity allowed OpenAI to drastically accelerate its technological advances. The organization had already released its first generative pre-trained transformer model, GPT-1, in June 2018, with 117 million parameters. This pioneering system laid the foundation for a new approach to natural language processing. In February 2019, OpenAI took a decisive step with GPT-2, a 1.5 billion parameter model capable of generating surprisingly coherent texts. The quality of the results was such that the organization made a controversial decision, initially releasing only a restricted version of the model, fearing malicious uses like automated disinformation.